April 26th. Welcome on into Daily Cards Live, presented by Munganess, St. Louis Acura, and Royal Banks of Missouri. I'm Joe Roderick, joined alongside by Bob Ramsey. Rammer, let's get it out of the way. Let's talk about the game from last night. You know what? Those games are going to happen. It was bad. At some point this year, we're going to talk about a game that the opposite happened, where the Cardinals got a win when they shouldn't have.
Right. Yeah, you can't play bad baseball against good teams and expect to win. Didn't take very many mistakes. Future Hall of Famer and Gold Glover Nolan Arenado made a bad play. He did that running thing when he didn't need to. He could have just planted and thrown. He had tons of time and just made an error. Now, it doesn't count as an error. He must know somebody up in the press box. That was an error. And then not covering first base. You're the closer. The pressure's on you. You've got to know what to do. So they messed up.
Yeah,
Screwed the pooch.
They did. They did, and we'll see what when they get that game back. We'll talk about it a little more then. I didn't ask Claibs this just because, and honestly, full disclosure, I did not ask Claibs this question I'm about to ask you because he talks to Ali Marmol every day, and I didn't want to kind of put him under the fire. What were your thoughts on Marmol's post-game presser, basically calling out Gallegos for his mistake?
I didn't think he called him out. I think he's trying to establish. Honesty, and it's hard to do because you also want to protect your players. But I don't think he wants to go as far as some managers where they'll say something ridiculous, take the heat themselves for sounding dumb when they're really just wanting to protect their players. I think finding that fine line to be honest and still have their back, I think that's what I think he's trying to feel that out.
The Cardinals get back at it again today. 6:45 is the start time again for this one, an early start time for the game tomorrow. Here are what the lineups look like for tonight's game. It is Chris Bassett going against Jordan Hicks, making his second start with the Cardinals. The Mets line up like this. It's Brandon Nimmo leading off and playing center field. Starling Marte is in right. Francisco Lindor is at short. Pete Alonso DHing. Eduardo Escobar is at third. Dominic Smith is at first. Mark Canha is in left. Jeff McNeil at second. And James McCann behind the plate tonight for the Mets. For the Cardinals, here's what theirs looks like. It's Tommy Edman at second. Paul Goldschmidt DHing tonight. Yep. Find out who. It's like this feels like a top 40 countdown. It's like, find out who's playing first in just a bit. Tyler O'Neill is in left. Nolan Arenado is at third. Dylan Carlson is in right. Harrison Bader is in center. Paul DeJong back at shortstop. Andrew Kisner behind the plate. Brendan Donovan makes his first major league start. He will be at first base tonight for the Cardinals. Rammer, your thoughts?
I think it's a good lineup. If Arenado wouldn't have made that error, I think Donovan would have played third and Arenado would have been DHing. Doesn't matter. I think he'd probably do that tomorrow and let Arenado get a day DHing. It's all good. I like Carlson hitting fifth. He looks like he's coming out of his early season funk, and hitting fifth was a real good spot for him in the last couple months last season. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at exactly how many games he was there, but he looked very comfortable. And Kisner belongs in there. I think it's a good lineup.
Yeah, I have no issues with it either. I think we all knew that this was coming, and this was the plan when they announced the call up of Donovan the other day. And I agree with you completely. I think Arenado DHs tomorrow, and I think Donovan is at third. The only other thing I could see possibly happening is if Pujols somehow gets the start there. I haven't looked ahead at what the probables are. Or actually, you know what? I know one day this weekend, I know Madison Bumgarner is pitching against Adam Wainwright. Whenever Adam Wainwright's next start is, I know that Bumgarner is facing him. So at some point we will see Pujols against him. I don't know if the Diamondbacks have any other lefties in that rotation that we'll possibly see this weekend. So no issues with what the lineup looks like for the Cardinals in that one. But yesterday, I mean, you look at it and it's just, again, I think you look at everything that happened there. I think it's everybody gets a clean slate. If the team's up tonight, Gallegos goes back in there. If you need a ground ball at some point in the game, TJ McFarland goes out there and he throws you that ground ball. TJ McFarland's not going to give up many home runs this year. So again, it's kind of just one of those fluke things where at least everything bad happened yesterday to where a lot of those things shouldn't happen again in the remainder of this year.
I think everybody loves the bullpen more than me. I kind of had hoped that Hicks would come back as the closer. I fully understand what they're doing, and I'm not against it. Gallegos, to me, has always felt like a guy who's a setup guy, not a closer. So, hey, one blown save a month, you can live with one. In fact, not only can you live with one blown save a month, if you only blow one save a month, you're an elite closer. If you go single digits blown saves in a season, you're elite. So I agree with you. Wipe the slate clean, reset the bullpen. Let's get after it tonight. The question will be, though, tonight is Woodford the piggyback guy? And how accountable do we hold him for anything that goes askew because he hadn't pitched? So I think they kind of got away from what was the apparent game plan. Maybe we were wrong in anticipating that. Let's see what happens tonight behind Hicks.
It's a 6:45 start time for the game tonight, an afternoon game tomorrow. So we'll be coming your way just a little earlier tomorrow than usual with that 12:30 start time down at Busch. This has been Daily Cards Live. Rammer, each and every day, we're presented by Mungenast St. Louis Acura and Royal Banks of Missouri.
Royal Banks, mortgage rates are going to climb really soon. Why don't you get locked in with a mortgage or a refi over at Royal Banks of Missouri? I say over. We're everywhere now, in St. Louis, across the river, and in Northeast Missouri. As always, Royal Banks is there for you.
That's Bob Ramsey. I'm Joe Roderick. This has been another edition of Daily Cards Live here on Claibs Online, presented by Mungenast St. Louis Acura and Royal Banks of Missouri. We'll be back with you tomorrow.
At St. Louis Acura, we have over 330 pre-owned vehicles of all makes and models. And all of them are covered by our St. Louis Acura Promise and backed by our Better Business Bureau A+ rating and 30 years in business. We also service all makes and models of vehicles, including glass and bumper repair, paint touch-ups, and full mechanical services from one of our 24 technicians. St. Louis Acura, better than ever for you, no matter what vehicle drives you.